When you're playing Monokuma, do you think of him as a character, or you're playing like an extension of Junko, or whoever the mastermind is?
So, spoiler alert. It's funny, a lot of the information about the game and where the game was going wasn't given to us when we first started, so I didn't have any of that information given to me. So I'm playing Monokuma as a character.
Okay.
And a misunderstood character. He's really a nice guy.
There you go, I've got the voice of God on my side. This isn't a Junko character analysis, I'm explicitly reviewing the aspect of her personality known as Monokuma, who the voice actor considers to be a character in his own right. Since it's impossible to pin down Junko's true nature, we can consider Monokuma as independent of her, in terms of personality anyway. So for this video, I'm going to make the assumption, based on what the voice actor for Monokuma, Brian Beacock, told me, that Monokuma and Junko herself think differently from each other. Let's start with character alignment. Junko is evil and she revels in it. Her one goal in life is to bring despair to the entire world, and Monokuma is completely on board with this. But does his role as a game master get in the way of his desire to inflict despair, because the rules of the killing game bind him?
What's more important to Monokuma, inflicting despair or the killing game itself and its rules?
I mean, do we have to choose? I think inflicting despair, I think he gets a kick out of it.
Here's the thing. Even with that twisted answer, I'm not sure Monokuma sees himself as the villain. He talks a lot about how the students are the ones who murder each other, even though he's the one that manipulates them into committing these atrocities. He never actually forces anyone to kill. Even with the time limit motive in Danganronpa V3, the mastermind has to instigate the killing. He doesn't go to one of the students and force them to do it, but because the entertainment value is more important than the rules, the mastermind has to do it themselves. And in this game in particular, Monokuma and the mastermind are independent of each other. Don't get me wrong, he'll break the rules if it benefits his in-game, but he never directly kills unless given authority by the rules. It's crucial to him that the students are the ones who commit murder, due to the despair it inflicts on the survivors, and lets the killing game continue as intended.
Would you say there's even any good inside of Monokuma?
It's a great question, and I'm going to go a little deeper with that. I will say that regardless of what the character is seen by other people as a hero or an antagonist, as an actor, I have to play all my characters as a hero. To me, I am my own protagonist. So I have to see Monokuma as a hero, regardless of what he does.
He raises an excellent point. Any good villain sees themselves as the hero, while poorly written villains are often evil for the sake of being evil, and Monokuma is definitely a good villain. And this is going to sound weird, but I don't get a feeling of hate from Monokuma. His actions aren't fueled by his disdain for the students, but rather his love of despair.
If Monokuma could kill one student in any game, which one would he kill? Like, he's allowed to break the rules and take one person out.
Oh, goodness. What? I don't know. I mean, does Monokuma... I guess Monokuma does play by the rules, right? So what I would like to... what I would like to see is maybe kind of like a mashup of maybe killing... I mean, I don't want to give away any spoilers, right? Plug your ears. How about re-killing Mondo, but this time it's butter and pancakes. That'd be nice, right? And maybe you can, cook them over a Celestia fire.
So what I imagine he'd do is leave those pancakes in the stockroom for the survivors to eat the following day. So he seems to think of himself as a jokester, rather than filled with malice for the participants. Which leads me to my next odd argument. Does Monokuma see himself as a villain? He does evil things and is aware that he does evil things, but does he think he's committing horrible acts upon these kids, or does he just think of himself as the most incredible reality TV host in history, and Junko is the one who owns up to being evil? There's also an argument to be made that Monokuma isn't just another one of Junko's personalities. She states that she gets bored of her persona quite easily, which is why we get to see such a wide range of emotions from Junko in such a short time, and it also makes her more mysterious. So how can she stand being Monokuma for nearly a month? My theory is that Junko and Monokuma have equal space in their mind, and both of them have separate personalities. Which is why we see shy Monokuma, giddy Monokuma, angry Monokuma, and horny Monokuma all in such quick succession. Monokuma has multiple personalities on top of being an alternate personality. Let's step back from the character of Monokuma and look at the delineation of this Despair Bear. He's very clearly meant to be scary with his slasher villain smile, but he's also portrayed as cute and lovable. I think the idea behind Monokuma's design was a mascot, but a mascot that blends traditional children's TV show values with cold-blooded murder. Essentially, he's a less creepy version of Elmo. The developers are also conscious of what side of Monokuma is most prevalent depending on the mood. When he gives a cryptic hint, his black side faces the camera. When he acts cute or silly, the white side is put on display. The black and white is obviously a yin-yang symbol, but this isn't very clear because Monokuma never shows any sign of acting heroically. So why has white been such a large part of his design if it represents nothing about the character? From a design perspective, there isn't a point. But within the context of the game, it makes perfect sense. It's cute. Don't forget that Monokuma was designed by the ultimate fashionista, or someone with enough talent and design to end up in magazines. Junko knows what's cute and what's appealing, so Monokuma represents Junko's cute fashion side and her despair side formed into one being. After all, you can't make the most watched event in the world without a mascot with worldwide appeal. Let's get back to Monokuma himself. We've established that the most critical thing in the world to him is inflicting despair, even above the killing game and its rules, but I think we can get more insight into Monokuma if we know exactly what his favourite part of the killing game is.
What's Monokuma's favourite part of, the killing game? Is it body discovery, when the blackened is discovered, the motive, and, they realise, the despair of why one of their friends killed another one, or punishment time or something else?
Well, definitely punishment time, but I think a body has been discovered is always exciting. Why it's done isn't usually always that much of a secret to Monokuma, so I don't find it that's very interesting to him. But then when the body is discovered, and then of course, the punishment time.
So the two moments he lists are specifically the moments in which the most shock is inflicted on the main cast, which actually makes me reconsider my point, as those moments in particular are packed with the most despair, although I suppose those are the most exciting moments to the viewer as well, so I can't really make a definitive conclusion. Monokuma is one of the most twisted characters to come out of gaming, and while I don't think the developers could have been any more direct in telling us that this series is over, I thought it would be worth asking.
Do you think there's B3 leaves the possibility open for Monokuma to ever return?
They've been talking about that for a while. I just don't know that it's going to happen. We've gone back and forth, and no one really has the info. I don't know that it's going to happen. I hope so, but I wouldn't place any bets on it right now.
So it looks like our Despair Bear is gone for good.